What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Getting everybody on. We've got a good show tonight. Leeroy and I are in the house. Tomorrow night, Damani Felder in with Olivia, Amy, and I. We're all very excited to have Damani back in the house. He called and said, hey, I want to come on the show. And we're like, okay, you have an open invitation anytime you want. I guess we're at that point in our relationship. If you've not had a chance, please like, share, and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. Leeroy, what are some of the things we're talking about tonight, big guy?
Well, we're going to talk about Jerry Connolly and his appointment over AOC. That was the part that I brought to the table.
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit.
We
got it. Go ahead.
We're also going to talk about the possible radiation that the state, I guess is how we would word that the government is looking for in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Spooky stuff, right?
Yeah. Is your monitor up super bright?
No.
Is your light have a setting to be a little bit more red?
I can break it down.
Like a little red? Like there's too much white in your light? Well, you're like right there, your skin color is good, but when you sit back, you look like Casper. There, that's better. That looks wonderful. You look good. I care about the way you look,
man. I'm a white man.
Right, but there's white, and then there's literally like almost offensive white. Like you haven't seen the sun since Schmiegel when he was in the cave.
I am locked up in a skiff most of the day, so.
I listen. People understand. They're like, "Why are you so white? And why are you always okay with being indoors all the time?" I'm like, it's our job for a long time. We'll be back in 4 seconds, folks. Or 3 minutes, but we're out of here in 2, 1, 0. Be back. Yes, Wimkin is getting an upgrade to their servers, their live show, and essentially pretty much everything. Jason is putting in a brand new security and re-envisioning of the current platform. So it has a lot of upgrades, especially to the live options. So we will not be on Wimkin tonight, but we will definitely be, hopefully be on tomorrow. So if anyone knows a Wimkin person, let them know. We can talk about it all as friends. We did try to post it on Wimkin, but Wimkin's down, so it doesn't help. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop arguing me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the fast. Tommy, I got a story about that. Remind me. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's stuff. Step to Wimkin.
What's up, everybody? It's Ryan Weaver. I am on the Don't Unfriend Me show, otherwise known as The DUM Show, with host Matt Spear. You guys can find the show at The DUM Show on social media or thedumshow.com.
Join Wimkin.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Hey, Amy, do me a favor. Check that link from Humberto and make sure it's not anything inappropriate. I'm going to spy it right now and see what we can see and see if this is bullshintoism or something true. Amy just already hit it with no random links, but did you happen to save the comment by chance, Ames? Let me know, please, because I can't find it anymore. 1 second. Yeah, we don't allow random links in chat. And if you're saying a drone was taken down, 9 times out of 10, it's bullshit. Drone was taken down. Let's do a quick search here. But we never know. No.
Could be. Maybe.
No.
I don't know.
No. If a drone was taken down and it was confirmed, it would be leading every single news source, top to bottom. Everybody would be grabbing on top of it. It would spread like wildfire. That's just what people are waiting for, something like this. And so, we'll talk about it. You can put a link in as long as it's show related. It just let us know, right? But most people who are doing that are just trying for clicks. It says drones here, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to bag their feed. And I'm the best at that. You're not.
Or they're fishing.
You're not going to do it on my fucking channel. So just not. I don't pay the bills for you to fucking advertise your site on my shit. You want a collab, you want to share some traffic. Well, we can do that, but you're not going to piggyback off my shit. So my mods are too fucking good for that. So welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We got a lot to cover tonight, a whole bunch to cover. How you been, Leroy? What's going on, dude?
Man, what a busy couple of days. I was thinking that even post the election, we're still in front of Inauguration Day, so I get it. But at some point, the news would slow down, and no, it hasn't. Right? There's constantly shit going on. If it's not drones, it's school shootings. If it's not school shootings, it's still the border and fentanyl. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot, dude. You think it would kind of chill out a little bit,
taper off, right?
It's not though. And I'll take it. It keeps us busy, and that's a good thing. Anything else new and exciting with you, man? What's how'd you like your Christmas present? We didn't talk.
Oh my God, Matt bought me a murder weapon. No, it's
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby. It's a chef's knife, about yay big. It's beautiful, and the thing is super sharp. It's gonna be perfect for brisket and roast and all those nice manly cuts of meat.
Yeah, it's a Damascus. It's actually fire forged, and it's done by a blacksmith. They roll it, they temper it, they do all the shit to it, they oil it, and it's pretty amazing. They're none two are alike, and it's as long as you oil it and sheathe it properly, and you do that thing will last you forever, and it keeps its edge. And if you dull it, just sharpen it the right way, so pretty amazing. Good. I'm glad you like it. So
yeah, thank you. It was very generous of you. Thank you.
I thought so. That was my goal, is to get accolades. That's really why I did it. Get something interesting. So what? Olivia sends me a video. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Oh, by the way, folks, 2 things real quick. If you have not had a chance to do this, this is a great time. This is one of our slowest months of the year for sure, these next 3. And the Don't Unfriend Me show is actually 100% on you. We don't do Google ads on the Dumb News. We don't do any of that stuff. And the reason why is because we believe that if the viewers find value in what we do, they're going to go ahead and take care of us. So we've been doing this for a while now. If you go to thedumshow.com/donate, I think we're in month 9. And we've hit it every night and hit our goal when we're on. But you can go over to thedumshow.com/donate, and you can go to PayPal. You can mail it, or you can go to Venmo, and we appreciate it. Everything goes to the show. It goes to the Don't Unfriend Me Network. It doesn't get sent to any corporation or RNC or DNC. We're not paid by
Right.
anybody else. It literally goes into our pockets, and it takes care of my family. It takes care of what we do here. This is a job for me. And I've been doing this full time now for better part of 4 years, but on my own without another income for about 3. And then Facebook took all of our income, and now we rely on y'all to help out. There's no obligation. You don't have to. You can watch the show for free. But if you don't mind, and this is the time you're like, hey, this is my first time watching. We like the show. Let's go ahead and give a buck. Or screw these guys. I'm not going to give them anything. That's fine too. Or if you've watched the show aplenty, you can go to thedumshow.com and go ahead and donate. We would be just tickled pink. Also, you can go to the shop. We've got a full store. It's one of the best stores on the internet for coffee, shirts, hats, all of that type of stuff. And the reason why it is because it's rated by customers like you. You just go ahead and you click, take a look, and you can get cool stuff. And there's also everything you need to know about us, all of our old shows, our club membership, all that type of stuff. Go and see that. Last but not least, and then I'll get through all this crap, and then we can get to the show, is go to dumnews.com. And that's not with a B, it's DUM. It stands for Don't Unfriend Me. And yes, we're aware that that spells dumb. You can go to news.thedumbshow. I guess you can, maybe, if we, please wait. What? News.thedumbshow.com. Weird. That's like my site loads super fast. Anyway, we got articles every single day. You can go over there, take a look. And those are 100% ad free. You don't get any ads on there, minus, some stuff for the show. But we like to make sure that everything's ad free. Go over there. Some of the best work that we do is in writing, and we would love for you to go take a look. All right. So this video, Leeroy, Olivia made, and she was out at her job. She's a nanny for a fairly prominent family in the area, and she takes care of their kids. And she's out there, and she looks up, and she sees some flying objects, unidentified flying objects. And immediately, she starts recording. And here is the video, and I'm going to tell you all about it before we get into it too much. But this is actually important because this is drone related. Now, I've been told I can't talk about drones, but I'm sorry, we do have to talk about some things that are related to it because there's some news. But here is the video. Let me get the audio on because the audio is just as precious as the actual video itself. It is literally going viral. So I will explain why this is important.
Oh my gosh, there are drones.
Oh my God.
Everywhere. They're everywhere. I don't know what to do. They're flying all around us. There's another one up there. Look, it's flying up there. They're going in every single direction. I don't know what we're going to do. Oh no, one just flew really close to my head too. Oh, this is so scary. I don't know what to do anymore.
So, see, okay. Now, I wish everyone would be watching the show. Because if they were, they wouldn't believe me. But this is on the main page of the Don't Unfriend Me show. It's on Twitter. And when Olivia sent this to me, I said, I'm going to do a little social experiment. Here's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Is I'm going to try to teach people something with these birds. Now, I am not a bird watcher. I can tell the difference between a blue jay and a cardinal. I can tell the difference between a seagull and a mackerel. I can tell the difference between a toucan and a flamingo. A hummingbird and a bald
eagle. Right.
I can tell the difference between. But if you ask me a Tuscanese African-laden swallow, I'll tell you to swallow. Okay? Leroy's probably the same way.
Fair enough.
Like general education.
Am.
Right.
So it's funny you say that. My wife actually is a kind of a bird lover. Like it's one of the go-to Christmas or birthday gifts that we can give her is like some specialty bird seed for the blue jays or what the hell's the other one? The red-tipped, red-winged blackbird or know, whatever the hell. And I'm like, I don't know what anything that you just said is, right? And it doesn't matter. Like They still sell it, so whatever. As long as you're happy, honey.
Right. And nobody really takes that too seriously. But this video is interesting because it's going to prove my theory. And it's going to help the people here who are still, dude, it's going viral. And there is an amalgamation of people responding, folks. And let me give you an idea of what I am saying here. We have people who believe that Olivia is serious. Deathly serious. Calling her stupid, calling her a whore, calling her dumb, a fucking idiot, needs to see a psychiatrist, is a fucking liberal. And I'm sitting here, and of course, they're like, hey, that's a buzzard. And I'm like, it's a Fahid SR-26 buzzard, and Arabic for buzzard is drone. And I've been like just trolling the shit out of people. So there's those people. They're the really angry ones. And those are about 10, maybe 3%. Then there's like another 10 to 15% who actually believe that Olivia's being serious and are trying to help her understand that those are not drones. Those are birds.
Is there a percentile breakdown roughly that you can?
I'm giving it to you. I just give it to you. 15%, 3%. We're at 18%. 15% are there to help Olivia. Oh, honey, it's not. Those are birds. 3% are fuck you, bitch. I hope you die in hell. So now we're at 18%. Wow. Then I would say like, let's just get to 50. So what? 22? No, 32. Yeah, 32% is probably shoot them down. Those are crows. Shoot them down. Those are buzzards. Shoot them down. Those are hawks. Shoot them down. Those are turkey vultures. Shoot them down. Those are owls. Shoot them down. No, I'm not kidding. Shoot them down. Those are squawkatilly Pekingese flying salmon. Okay?
Right.
The other 50%, I'm not kidding, are saying the following. It's our government running a psyop. And those look a lot like birds, but we all know what they are. 50%. If you think I'm fucking kidding you, go look at the thousands of comments on this video. I'm getting them right now, and people are like, dumb bitch. You know, dude, I'm not kidding. I will share some of these with you. And Matt, your vulgar language, this isn't me. I'm just telling you how angry people are over this.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to focus on the people who think these are actually drones because, dude, there must be people who are watching us who have poor eyesight, who are not turning up the volume. There's a lot of reasons, right? I want to focus on the people to prove my point, and Leroy's point about this is I want to prove to you the middle portion of that 32% that are struggling to identify these as vultures, as crows, as hawks, as eagles, as falcons, as blackbirds, as Pekingese, Tuscanese,
whatever the hell's, yeah.
European-laden salmon. No, Olivia doesn't care. Olivia is pissing herself crying in laughter. Olivia doesn't care because she's reading all my replies and going, oh my God, this is awesome. Folks, the reason why I'm talking about this video is to help you understand that if you can't tell the difference between a hawk, a crow, a vulture, and how they fly and how they move and how lady goes, oh my God, honey, those are hawks. Just now got it.
You think?
Oh my God. Oh my God, those are hawks. So let me tell you what they are. They're turkey vultures. And they are out in here in Virginia, and we don't have CDOT. When a deer gets hit, you know what the comment is? Leave it. The sanitation department will be by to pick it up. And like 24 hours later, we see that there's 47 vultures ripping its carcass apart. And we go back on Facebook, we're like, dude, where's the sanitation department? Like, you have it there already. That thing will be gone, and every remnants of it, every
Right.
drop of blood will be gone in the next 3 hours. And it happens. This is
Nature.
nature, and this is non-city life. So people are so, if you can't figure out what a bird is versus a drone, then what makes you think at the dark of night, with refraction taking place, with multiple light systems, without seeing a fuselage, without understanding how to listen to what a propeller is and a turbine is, or a dual turbine is, or a reverse downdraft versus a back propulsion system, if you don't understand how to tell what a bird is, how do you expect to understand what a drone is? And this experiment proves that people don't know what they're talking about. People don't understand. Now, how do you change that? Someone goes, feed them, feed the drones. Try to feed the drones. If they're dressed like vultures, maybe they'll respond to food. Some people are kidding. Some people are serious. Now, the only way you combat this, Leroy, is how? How do you stop not knowing something?
You got to teach people.
Or
You
yourself.
got to show them. Right.
So,
Well,
if,
a lot of people don't go forth with that, they're not as
I know.
outgoing,
I know.
So you
but
have
how
to
do you
teach
do
them.
it? You have to teach them, and they have to teach themselves.
Yeah.
So some people are also diving into this conspiracy that birds aren't real, that there are no real birds on the earth, that they're all robots and government controlled, and the sun isn't real. There's people who believe this. So listen to what I'm trying to tell you. If Leroy and I want to be able to understand what birds look like, we would take a bird watching course, or we would go study the proper course in biology of some sort of avian-based genus, phylum, class, order, species course on birds. And we would be able to identify what birds are. But Leroy and I have already taken that course for drones and fixed wing and rotary aircraft and civilian and military and experimental and prototype and classic and antiques of all types of aircraft. And what we're telling you is you need to relax.
Yep.
And I'm telling the people who are upset at this bird video that we put out, you will also need to relax.
Agreed.
These are not drones. And my wife was putting on a joke, and people took it seriously. Like, can you not hear her voice, for the love of God? And hear
It's
her.
called sarcasm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right here. There you go.
Drones. Oh my gosh, there are drones everywhere. They're everywhere. I don't know what to do. They're flying all around us. There's another one up there. Look, it's flying up there. They're going in every single direction. I don't know what we're going to do. Oh no, one just flew really close to my head too. Oh, this is so scary. I don't know what to do anymore.
The only person, there's two people that got the comment of the thread so far. And this thing, I'm not kidding. It's doing pretty well. I'll give you the numbers after when Leroy has his comments to make. The first comment, first comment was, you don't know what to do? You should run back inside and get in the kitchen. Okay, that was great.
I love it.
You win the comment. But the guy said this. He's like, well, honestly, man, those are more convincing as drones other than the other 1,200 videos I've seen saying they are really drones, because that looks more realistic. And I'm like, you just want a free t-shirt. You're the only person on this entire thread that has said what you just said. And we are now at, just to give you a quick idea of where we're on this video, and then it's all Leroy on this. And then we're going to dive into why we're talking about this. Okay? Because there's some things that aren't just about drones that are important. 591 people have laughed and given a thumbs up. I'll break down the numbers for you. 5 people are angry. 12 are shocked. 125 like it. 447 people get it and are laughing. But here are the insights on this thing so far. It's 18,000 views already.
My God.
It's averaging 5,000 views every 30 minutes. It's had over 8,000 interactions. 46% of my followers have seen it. 54% are non-followers, which means this is going viral. People watch it. It's a 30-second video. They watch it to the 28-second mark, which is also insanity. 1 person has saved it. 51 have shared it. 249 have commented on it. And this thing is most assuredly going viral. Leroy's going to talk to you about a couple things that he wants to say, I'm sure. And then we're going to dive into some other topics that are related to this. Go ahead, Leroy.
All right. First of all, everyone who's stressed about this, what I want you to do is to stand up, arch your back up, just kind of breathe, listen to the sound of my voice, and relax. Because for everyone who is freaking out about this, and I legitimately do feel bad for those who are looking up and are just, have some level of, oh my God, what is happening? The sky is falling. What we need you to realize is that 80 to 90% of the reports that you see coming in on the news from social media or YouTube that says, oh my God, here is this drone, and you've got some pattern of lights. If you see red and green, okay, what that means is that whoever is operating it, drone or commercial aircraft, right? If you see that pattern, that means that whoever is operating it is adhering to FAA regulation. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. If you were in fear of that, I would say that what should frighten you more are the things that you're not seeing. So if a drone is legitimately in an area and you hear something, but you're not seeing any lights, that might be cause for concern. Now, but that's not what everyone is freaking out about. What they're seeing is just all of these comments from YouTube and Facebook and ABC and NBC. So you have to relax a little bit, because 80 to 90% of them are misidentification of commercial platforms, private aircraft, or if they are drones, they're owned by private citizens. Okay.
Right.
And just as a quick rundown, there since the last 10, 15 years, there has been explosion in the drone industry. We used to have 2 or 3 or 4 companies. It is now plus 50. So there's Parrot, Aerobatics, Flyability, Aero Environment, eHang, Unique, and the list goes on for fucking ever.
There's
Dragonfly.
2 million drones in the United States right now that are just civilian operated. And those are the basic LED battery types.
Right. So there's DJI and, the list just goes on, right? So when you start to really take in how many potential drones could be out there, you need to kind of take that into your equation. Could be just a 12-year-old with a remote. Now, here's the other thing, and this is part of a bigger picture. In the next few years, we're going to see some amazing inventions coming around. Not only advances in drone technology, but also electric vehicles that fly. And they're already out. The one that I actually want is called the Jetson 1. Flies around. It's not that big. It's about the size of a motorcycle. That is one of them. Feel free to Google that one on your own time. There's another one that I thought was even more interesting called the, what the hell is it called? The Cyclorotor by Cyclotech. Most bizarre looking thing. It doesn't actually have blades, nor does it have jet engines. It uses what looks like a squirrel cage, and it uses that as wheels to provide downward propulsion, to provide lift.
Have you seen the dragon
Amazing
yet?
thing.
Have you seen the dragon?
I haven't seen the dragon, but
It's a dragon tail. It's a dragon tail, dude, with independent fans and it's rough. It looks like a snake, and it will go through, like, you put up obstacles like a box, and it will fly through them. I'll show it to you in just a second.
Yeah. So I guess my point is, as much as the drone industry has exploded in the last 15 years, we're going to see another type of that level of explosion just in terms of vehicles that can fly. And that's just because the technology has just now gotten to the point where, excuse me, I'm sorry, where the cost has come down and the technology has advanced enough that it's now within the grasp of a lot of people, a lot more people, so that you can get a halfway decent driving type vehicle that flies for roughly the cost of a Tesla. So I think you're going to see more and more of these types of misidentifications. And so we need to tell everyone to just kind of relax.
So look at this real quick, just so we can have a full show tonight, because I don't want to spend. Nobody wants me to spend more time on these drones. We have, but there are some topics. But
that is
look
cool.
At this. Look at that.
That is nuts.
So very soon, the technology, they're going to use the fans to get it to walk. These are all computations. These things are going to advance to a point
You
where
see Jetson 1?
Yeah, I saw that
Pull
too.
a video of that thing.
You see
It's
the one.
amazing.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time on this.
Yeah.
You saw we have literally spent like 7 hours on this topic this week, but there's ones that are actually submersible that can actually use the propellers to go underwater. And then what it does is it gets a massive burst of prop and it jumps up in the air. And as soon as it does, downward fans lift it up like a V-volt. Yep. And then it opens up its wings and it takes off. This is the new prototype. Everyone, we know a lot about this because this is the way our minds work, is we like to be informed. And like the day that my mind goes, you might as well smother me with a pillow. Because I've told my wife, I said, if I have a heart attack, I'll be okay. If I break a hip, I'll be okay. But if I lose my mind, snuff me out, because I don't want to be around anymore. So I want people to relax on that. But here's why we're talking about this tonight, because there are some very big concerns. Now, I predicted the nuclear reaction. I told you that they were going to say that they were looking for a dirty bomb, and this was going to be the next story. Well, that's what happened. Were you there when I predicted that on Thursday?
I was listening.
24 hours later,
here.
It was all over. Folks, this isn't easy. This isn't hard to predict. And if you think the bird thing is that big of a joke, if you think it's that insane, let me show you what's being pushed now. This is in New Jersey. And those are Canadian honkers, for those of you who don't know. I'm not a bird watcher, but I am a pretty smart fucking guy. And
those are illegal, by the way.
Yeah, Canadian honkers fly south for the winter, by the way, folks, if you didn't know this. But the title is Concerned Citizen. New Jersey residents are now reporting unusual bird patterns. Thousands of birds migrate. The birds know this is the drones. Folks.
It's Mothra.
We're getting to a point, a level of stupidity where I need to disassociate myself, where I need to Ted Kaczynski this motherfucker and not blow shit up, but just disappear. Like, I need to go find a cabin and just leave, because the stupidity of people is like so difficult for me. Like, we have reached the level of Idiocracy, the movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Birds fucking migrate. It has nothing to do with drones. But this is where we are now as a society. Now, I want to show you a report, and Leeroy and I are going to discuss this. And this is a report. Well, maybe I'm not going to show you the report. Yeah, it's on the Daily Mail. Let me put it on.
About the radiation.
Yeah. Daily Mail. Fine. Nuke. Our waste. Okay, so this came out this morning. And it's that a mysterious radioactive shipment went missing. Now, Leroy, you get a message.
Sir.
You get message traffic, right? You're on watch.
Will do. Yep.
And yeah, I know that. Okay, this is a hypothetical. You always do this to me. But this isn't for you. This is for the viewer. They don't know you do. So I got to tell them every time because we have new people watching. So you get message traffic or flash traffic, right? And it says location, New Jersey near Meadowlands Stadium, University Hospital, and radiological Presbyterian Church, whatever, hospital, whatever that is. Okay. And it says time is 05:43. Situation report states that mystery radioactive shipment goes missing in New Jersey due to what they believe to be negligence, a driver misplacing nuclear waste of a level that is negligible, non-weapons grade nuke waste, predominantly a category 3 waste that does not pose a threat. And you get that message and it comes across flash traffic. What are you going to do with it?
What am I going to do with it?
Yeah, what are you going to do with it?
Well, me personally, I'm going to read it and then probably sit on it. But for the average, for the military who do have to take part in that type of thing, what they will do is they have to go looking for said missing material, right? And we have groups that are dedicated for that task, for that purpose, where if something goes missing, these guys are prepared. They're teams that are prepared to go looking for the missing nuclear material.
Yeah, but that's not going to come across your desk.
No.
That's my point.
Oh,
is you're not
gotcha.
you're not going to get that because that has nothing to do
with
Leroy. And if he and here's why. A Nest team wouldn't get that information. Most government agencies aren't going to get that information.
Right.
You're going to find that it's going to be local hazmat teams that are going to ultimately deal with this. It'll be a local investigation that will probably not be federal because this is a low grade GE-68 category 3 nuclear waste. It has extremely low radiation levels. I mean, absolutely low. There's no weapon grade to it. Prolonged exposure isn't going to necessarily hurt you. It is a very low-level isotope. But based on all of that, you've got people saying this is related to the drone. And I'll tell you why. Here's Daily Mail. Leroy, read that headline for me.
Hold on. I need to expand the screen. And I also had one other thing that I wanted to add.
Yep.
Mystery as radioactive shipment goes missing in New Jersey amid drone invasion.
So what does that title tell you, buddy?
That it's a mystery.
But
so
come on, dude. You know what they're doing.
Right. And what this is kind of like, I really see that as almost like clickbait. Honestly,
that's exactly what it is.
Because they're not giving you anything. They're just trying to foment an already worried population in New Jersey.
What drone invasion? What drone invasion?
Right.
What are you talking about? Give me one bit of evidence, exculpatory evidence, that demonstrates that there is a drone invasion in the United States right now that isn't literally civilian based. Give me a break. And now you're tying nukes to it like I told you they would.
Real quick, if there were such an incident, excuse me, all over the news, you would hear that the United States military right? And they may not make it public, but more than likely they would make it public, especially if it were within the continental United States. If something like that were to happen, the military would issue a very specific type of message, either called a faded giant, okay, which is a form of like flash traffic message, or a broken arrow, one of the two, because some level of nuclear material has gone missing. But there's been no such issuance of any sort of message like that.
Right. And our military readiness hasn't increased. If there was drones off the coast and they were on a mothership, or we were getting penetrated by a foreign adversary, our defense readiness level would change. It hasn't. You would see F-35s circling cities at all hours of the day. You would hear engagements. You would get footage of these fucking things being shot down. There is no drone invasion. There are a group of foreign nationals in the United States of America who are using civilian pop drones to spy on sensitive areas, and the United States government is aware of this. We covered this 6 months ago. We also know that now there are hobbyists. There are people who are flying TIE fighters, fucking TIE fighters, and making them silhouette against the sunset, and people are going, oh my God, it's a spaceship. And this is, and anyone who loves planes and boats and tanks like Leroy and I do, we also love sci-fi shit. We love sci-fi ships and the Serenity or the Death Star, the Millennium Falcon. And they're using TIE fighters that are kind of obscure from the newer films and flying them and going, oh my God, it's a drone. That you can listen to the people. They sound just like Olivia. They're idiots. They're just trolling you. They're doing exactly what I did to get clicks. Now, I don't care about the clicks. I'm trying to prove a point to you. You're getting played.
Yep.
This is all going to end when the FAA lifts its restrictions. What I told them the other night, they didn't, and you probably didn't hear me, is the FAA put out quite a few different no-fly restrictions around military bases in lieu of this, preparatory. But they're also doing some testing, which diverts air traffic straight up all the way around that area. It's a no-fly zone. So it's pushing planes and pushing aircraft, putting Cessnas, pushing helicopters into areas, in rural areas where people have never seen planes before. They literally don't see it because it's not on they're not on the flight path. And all of a sudden now they have 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s an hour, and they're going, oh my God, Ethel, it's a spaceman. They don't know any better, just like they don't know the difference between a vulture and a fucking hummingbird.
On top of that, I mean, if I can add this, if there really were some level of material that had been lost as local as New Jersey, the idea that the military or the FAA wouldn't shut down the entire area, right? Because what they would have to do is send up aircraft that could sense for that type of thing. And it's they probably have some level of very specialized aircraft. I'm trying to be careful with my wording. They probably have that. And if they did have such aircraft, right, they would want to make sure that the entire area is clear. Does that make sense?
Nope, because it's not real. So I don't know what you're talking about. There isn't anything in existence. But here's the thing. If there was this imaginary system that could actually check isotopes in the atmosphere and play it against the regular normal radon and normal radioactive elements that you don't even know are there, for instance, UV light or something emitting something from a microwave emitter or whatever, and it could discern the isotopes of this low-grade 3, 4, 5 class nuclear waste, even if it existed, which is a hypothetical, it wouldn't even pick up type 3 because it's not designed to do that. It puts such a low rad emission out that it's untraceable unless you go, oh, and you got a Geiger counter right up against it and go, oh, holy shit, this is rad material. It is a low-grade nuclear waste. It is not weapons-grade uranium, okay? So in this hypothetical conversation that Leroy and I are having right now, which doesn't exist in any world on any plane of existence, you can relax. This is missing. This was a misplaced this is what happens when a nuclear waste of any type, and it doesn't matter what type it is, if it is shipped from that location, they tag it and they declare it to the NRC. If it is going to go overseas, they have to declare it to port admissions and several other places, right? It's not just
you got to tell them what the NRC is.
National Radiological, what the fuck
Nuclear
is the
Regulatory Commission?
Yes, Nuclear Regulatory Commission.
Yeah,
Thank you. NRC. Too many fucking acronyms in my head over the years. So the NRC, their job is to go ahead and control any biochemical waste, nuclear plant, whatever. They were notified about this. You know what they said? Thanks. It would be like
Thanks for the hot tip.
It would be like you notifying the Los Angeles fucking Dodgers when your son got a single.
Right.
Dodgers would be like, great, have him call us when he's 16. Fuck off. We're trying to buy another World Series. So, okay, now that we've done that, and God, I'm glad we did. Now that we've gone through that, let's go through what people are kind of flipping out about, which is, I haven't even checked donations. I don't even know where we're at. Hold on, I got to do that real quick.
$51.99.
Nope, we're nowhere. Okay, so, all right, gonna be a slow night at the Spear household. Let me get this out. I got to find my other window. I lost my window.
Folks, if you like what you're hearing, right, if we're providing you some level of either comfort or just enough information so that you don't have your neighbors freaking out on you, feel free to throw a donation at us.
Or if we're making you mad.
Oh, either way.
We always love to do that. All right, so I want to break this down a little bit. Leroy's going to have an opinion, I'm sure, on this. And let me just open up this window. Okay, so a lot of people are saying, all right, well, these drones, it may not be foreign governments, but this is a psyop from the government. Okay, we're going to answer everything tonight, and we know this isn't super popular. We're sorry. There is a bill, H610. It's the UAS Authority Security Safety Reauthorization Act of 2024. Okay, now this had a lot to do with preparing radioactive material for keeping the Homeland Security safe. And this has now been proposed by the DOJ, Homeland Security, and there's key provisions that are changing in HR 8610. These provisions, and a lot of people are saying, oh my God, this is why the government's doing this. They're trying to get their bill passed. First of all, a provision is not that big of a deal. The general public is not notified on this. They don't go ahead and poll the constituents. They don't talk about this in town halls. This is a standard provision on updating a bill that has already been completely passed. The provisions are, and I'm going to read them for you so everyone understands. So we cannot flip out about this also. Extension of authorities. The bill proposes to extend the existence counter UAS authorities for DHS and DOJ through October 1, 2028. This just expands the current bill's authority to a longer period of time. Okay? Enhanced coordination. It seeks to improve coordination among DHS, DOJ, and Department of Transportation and the Federal Aviation Administration to effectively counter emerging threats posed by unmanned aircraft systems, UASs. Okay? This is what we ask our legislators to do, right? Is to pass things to keep us safe. Privacy and civil liberties protection. The legislation includes measures to ensure that information gathered by approved counter UAS systems is not misused or retained for extended periods, thereby safeguarding America's privacy and civil liberties. Prohibition on foreign manufactured system. It prohibits DHS and DOJ from using or authorizing the use of counter UAS systems manufactured by certain foreign entities addressing security concerns related to foreign technology. Last but not least, the expansion of counter UAS authorities. The bill provides Homeland Security investigations a principal investigative component of DHS with counter UAS authority and grants DHS the ability to protect public airports. This is not an expansion of authority, folks. This isn't some overreaching Patriot Act. These are basic things that technology has advanced that our enemies are advancing at a rapid clip. We do not want to have a TikTok situation where a foreign entity is impacting hundreds of millions of people. We have to be very, very careful. And this is also putting the genital cuff on DHS, the FAA, and any other agency that gets it up their ass to spy on Americans. This isn't a bad thing. There is no reason for them to hype up this drone scare. It just happens to be that this drone shit has taken off like wildfire, and bills are passed every single day on methanol use, on what subsidies ag gets, on how much medical costs are going to cost in a federal level versus a state level, what our tax would be or what our trade negotiation will be. What interest rates are going to be, what our gun laws are going to be, what our elections will look, everything. There are thousands upon thousands of bills sitting on the Hill. And at any given Sunday, you can nefariously tie the sinew together to make some dastardly plot. But that doesn't mean that's what's happening. Leeroy, shed light on this that I've missed, please.
No, I think you hit it square in the head. What I'm hearing there, think of it in terms of a cell phone, folks. For everyone who's watching, just think of it in terms of, all right, the government is just now starting to use cell phones on a massive scale. Are they going to allow the use of Huawei Chinese phones within the system specifically for government use? No. And that's what this bill does, but not for cell phones, for drones. That's all that's how you should think of it. They're just trying to keep foreign entities out in terms of the electronics use, out of our government system. That's all they're trying to do.
There is nothing that says anything about civilian use. The only other provision that it extends is that you have to go ahead and understand is that it extends the provision not to fly over militarized areas or airports or any dangerous areas. You have no authorization to do that. And they are simply restating that and extending it in the provision, which was already there. So for the people that sent me that and said, oh my God, Matt, 8610, it's going to end us. And this is the drone conspiracy. And they're trying to do a PSYOP. No, they're not. Judy, thank you for your donation. All right. So I think now we can put the drones to bed for tonight. Nope, we can't.
Real quick,
go ahead.
Can I just want to add one minute point. And the government is just as much a victim of some of these, unknown origin for the drones as anybody else. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base posted today that there were 2 drones spotted over the base, and they don't know where they came from necessarily. So we need everyone to remember that sometimes the government doesn't even know what the hell's going on. And so that what they're trying to do is just they're trying to do their best to manage the situation.
That's right.
Right. And if anything else, this is just another indicator that the government doesn't have all the answers. They are not Big Brother. They are often just as clueless as everyone else. So,
and more often than not.
Yeah.
More often than not. We've worked for them. We understand. And a lot of it's reactionary. The one thing about the military that you always want to try to do, especially in intel, is you want to be proactive versus reactive. That's a lofty goal for our intelligence apparatus, which most of the time works reactively. It is overworked, undermanned, and it's not going to get any better anytime soon. I think we can shift. So anyway, missing radioactive material. Kevin Corke did a series on Fox News. I'm going to play it because I want you not just to get my opinion, but I want you to get the opinion of. No, you know what? No, we beat this to death. I'm going to have Kevin come on. I used to live in Colorado, and we watched him on the Avalanche. We've seen him after games. He would cover the local Denver sports. Now he's on Fox. I talk to him on Twitter once in a while. We're not friends in any way, shape, or form. But whenever I say something, he always leaves me a like or says thanks or whatever. I think I'm going to try to ask him to get on the show.
That'd be cool.
Let's do. Yeah, he is a smart guy. Let's do your topic, which was
Jerry
joint.
Connolly.
Yeah, let's do this real quick. AOC. And I had the video, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
you're
pulling it
fine.
up. So tell everybody what AOC was running for.
So she was running for a position on the Oversight Committee, and she was beat because, again, you have to run for these types of things. She was beat by fellow Democrat Jerry Connolly, who we've all seen before, whether or not you realize that you know his name or you don't, or you recognize his face or not. I'm not sure. But he's a Democrat from Virginia. And for him to be in such a position, look, it was either going to be AOC or Jerry. And between the two of them, at least AOC is more easily like, you can prove her wrong. Like, sometimes people can listen to her and go, oh, look, it's AOC. No one takes her seriously. So, yeah. Did you find the...
I didn't, but I do have a sample of Connolly.
Republican Party as a whole.
Was there a video on your link, buddy?
I don't think there was. I actually
That's
just
okay.
wanted to kind of introduce who he was so that when you
here's the
see
sound
his
clip.
name in the future in the news, people understand who the hell he is.
Yeah, he looks like Barney Miller at 195 years old.
Yeah.
Here he is. And he's my guy in Virginia, so I have to deal with this shitbag.
There seems to be a lot of accounting for Trump, both legally and politically, as we see with the 2024 campaign starting the way it has. What's your impression, or what are you hearing among Democrats about the state of this campaign, and what is the assessment of the Republican Party as a whole? Do you think it's sooner or later it's going to coalesce around him, or is this field, at least from a Democratic perspective, one that could possibly be wide open?
You know, most of us were giddy at his campaign and his nomination in 2016.
What?
And we live to really regret that giddiness.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Jane. God bless.
There seems to be a lot of accounting for Trump, both legally and politically, as we see with the 2024 campaign starting the way it has. What's your impression, or what are you hearing among Democrats about the state of this?
So this guy
It just
obviously is an.
If you gave that guy a banker's hat, he would look like Geppetto.
Oh,
Brett,
or he would look
good
like
evening.
a Monopoly guy a little bit. You're right, but more like
Yeah, a little
Geppetto.
bit.
Here's a video of the race, and both of them are extremely anti-gun. Connolly is a little bit, claims to be a moderate Democrat. This guy has went after J6ers. He's anti-gun. At least AOC lets you know who she is. I will be honest with you. This is a terrifying thing, but I would rather have AOC over the Oversight Committee than this fucking bozo. I'm not a fan of either of them, but at least you can keep her in check because usually her ideas are just stupid and pretty harmless. This guy's ideas are stupid and dangerous. Here's his comment.
Senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram explains tonight live from Capitol Hill. Good evening, Chad.
Brett, good evening. A blow to the youth movement in the Democratic Party. A panel of Democrats tonight recommended Jerry Connolly of Virginia.
Hey, folks, we're a little light on Twitter. Mel, if you have a chance to share it out like you always do, that would really help us out. Thanks.
Over Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to be the top Democrat on the Oversight Committee. Now, it was a generational choice for Democrats. Youth versus experience. An icon of the progressive movement. The 35-year-old AOC taking on decades of experience in the 74-year-old Jerry Connolly. Tonight, the old guard won. Former presidential candidate Dean Phillips says the party blocks youth. The Minnesota Democrat challenged.
No, the party blocks socialism because the progressive socialist movement of the party is officially dead, and they don't want anything to do with it. They are sick of AOC. They've weakened the Democratic stronghold. They've weakened the shoulder-to-shoulder stance. They want ridiculous spending, and they're very much like the alt-right. The alt-left was absolutely repudiated in 2024 like we were shellacked in 2020. The United States does not want progressive socialists. Leroy, go ahead.
That's an important point because a lot of people are going to listen to what he just said on Fox and think, oh my God, somehow this is a a win for older people or a loss for younger people when what you just said is far more accurate. It's not that. It's that the voting bloc in that area has now recognized that the Democrat Party had gone so far left that now they're more moderate. They're looking for the more moderate level of Democrat, and they recognize that AOC has gone a little bit off the deep end. So this actually made sense, especially when taken into the context of the election.
Yeah. Here's the rest.
President Biden over his age.
It is time to elevate the best and brightest. We have literally kept them from ascending to leadership positions, which means they go elsewhere.
Democrats were concerned that an AOC win meant the party could veer left.
Thank you, Chabelle.
Ohio's Marcy Kaptur
Thank you,
is the
Chabelle.
longest tenured woman in House history. She never chaired a committee, but she tried.
The people that get elected in my party tend to come from the coasts.
Kaptur says former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi partly blocked her, and Pelosi worked against AOC's bid now. Republicans did not vote, but Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer preferred Ocasio.
Yeah, she's not ugly when she talks.
hot.
When she talks,
Yeah, that's
or
when
once her teeth separate, she looks like fucking Mr. Ed. But she's not an ugly woman.
Cortez.
And anyone who says she is just, you're just being hurtful and mean.
I hope they put her on there because she symbolizes what the Democrats stand for. She's a socialist. She's the architect of the Green New Deal in the House.
The vote is finalized tomorrow, but one newcomer did prevail, Angie Craig of Minnesota. She beat David Scott and Jim Costa to become the ranking Democrat on agriculture. Brett?
Hey, Chad, where do we stand with the bill to try to avoid a government shutdown this weekend?
Oh, boy.
Well, there's no text yet. The deadline is late Friday night. It's hard, frankly, to get everything done. Now, that's because the House has a rule to post the bill for 3 days before voting. Then it must get through the Senate.
A 1,500-page bill in 3 days. Right.
Now, the bill is
Who's gonna read
expected
that?
to include around $100 billion for hurricane relief, but no language on drones. Brett?
Okay.
Oh, my God.
So real quick on the topic of Jerry, what people need to realize, it was just last year, he had two of his own staffers who were brutally attacked by a deranged man with a baseball bat. Back in January the 6th of 2020, he called his wife and in an interview basically said, honey, I don't know that I'm going to make it home. I am in fear for my life. Right. And basically just let it all go. Just said, I'm here to die, I guess. Like he was just ready to give in. Yet this is the same guy who wants to vote for common sense gun control. Right. He voted against bump stocks and he voted for the ban against assault weapons, whatever the hell that is. This is going to be the guy who's now going to be on the top oversight committee. That should frighten you because at least with this, when it was with AOC, everyone could see through the bullshit. They could look at her and to some degree listen to what she was saying and go, I'm not really taking it that seriously. This is a different kind of person because this is a guy who's 74 years old. He's been in politics for 30 years. This is one of those old Nancy Pelosi types who knows his way around the bull ring. Yes. So this is a bad thing. I would rather have had AOC.
I would. And this is just a move for AOC to run for president in 2028. So she thinks she's going to get tapped. You know what? Good. Run her because she's going to lose. Progressive socialists are never going to run the United States. People go, oh, well, Kamala lost because she sucked or they wanted Biden or she wasn't popular or policies. No, she's a socialist. And everybody knows that. There's too many old people in the United States who remember the commie red. And she is. That had a lot to do with it because they thought that the older generation was just going to come home. The younger generation was going to come, and do what they would. No, people repudiated her policies for a reason. AOC is like Carrie Lake running for president. For the first time ever in U.S. history, if AOC runs and Carrie Lake runs, there won't be a declared president. No, neither of them will reach the electoral limit. Do you understand? Neither of them. It'd be 269 and 269. None. They would not. Just nobody's going to vote for those two. Good. I don't want them. I don't want Carrie Lake. I don't want AOC. I don't want the alt-right. I don't want the alt-left. Let's get some common sense. Guys, this world is going to be very different in 4 years, and the United States is going to be very different. I think Donald Trump is going to have an amazing 4 years. Amazing. That's just my gut. We'll see. And I didn't say that about 2020. I was very circumspect about his chances in 2020. I feel really good now. I think people realize that the media are a bunch of liars, that Democrats are complete shit, and we're going to see a change. Thank you, Mel, for helping us out with Twitter. So. Yeah, I do too. Here's
God,
Jerry.
right.
Well, we'll see, buddy. Here's John Kennedy. No, not that one, because that would be a miracle. But this is Senator John Kennedy, who went after the NCAA president, Charlie Baker. And this is a special kind of a video that you should watch.
NCAA exists in part to promote fair competition in collegiate sports, does it not? Could you speak in the mic for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait a second. Is this the NCAA or the NCAAP? It's the NCAA. Okay, I thought it was the NAACP, and I was like, holy shit, Whitey in charge of the NAACP.
Transgender woman is a biological male. Is that correct?
Yes.
And a biological male is always going to have a physical and a physiological advantage competing in a collegiate sport against a biological female. Isn't that true?
There's not a lot of research on it, but it's certainly debatable.
You think it's debatable?
I think it's debatable.
You don't think?
I mean,
think that a biological male has an advantage every time competing against a biological female? Is that your testimony?
No, I think defined the way you defined it, yes, I would agree with you.
So you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay. So why does the NCAA, why do you, your job is to promote fairness in collegiate sports. Why do you support allowing transgender women who are biological males to compete against non-transgender biological females?
Over the course of the past 2 years, 5 federal court cases involving this question. Let me finish. 5 federal judges have all sided with participation as the standard. This is a very...
So you're saying you don't have a choice?
I'm saying that under the current dynamic, there is not clarity on this issue legally.
Well, why don't you exhibit leadership and demonstrate leadership and provide clarity? If you agree with me,
well, first of all,
that the purpose of the NCAA is to promote fair competition, and if you agree with me that in every single instance, a biological male is going to have an unfair advantage over a biological female, then why don't you just say, look, in America you can be whomever you want to be, but in terms of fair competition in a collegiate sport, transgender women who are biological males are not going to be allowed to compete against non-transgender women who are biological female. Boom, done. Why don't you go to Amazon and buy a spine online and take a stand?
Wow.
Dude,
they sell those?
Seriously, what?
Kidding.
Well, I usually have to go to my wife's purse. What can you explain to me what the fuck is going on? What?
You know,
who actually believes this? Who actually believes that men are not superior in every single way physically to women? Because I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. It's not personal. It's not an insult.
No, it's not.
It's just you can't do what a man can do physically. Are there women out there who are stronger than me? Yes. But my daughter asked me the other night, she's like, Matt, could a woman go through buds? And I said, no. She goes, why not? And I said, because they're not physically and mentally capable of navigating the training. And if you're going to find a woman who physically can do it, the odds of finding that same woman has the mentality to do it and has the want to do it are about as rare as finding a Iranian buzzard drone over one of our military bases. Okay? It's just not going to happen. Okay? That's not the way it works. Go ahead, buddy.
When I was listening to him, I just kept thinking to myself, how have we gotten to this day and age where every time we need to call out the actual distinctions between the sexes, we can't use the words male and female anymore. We now have to preface that term with biological male and biological female because no one else. There's been such a muddying of the waters when we're trying to address concepts as simple as gender, right? That somehow we now have to use that as a prefatory statement, right? And here's another thing that really bothers me. What Mr. Kennedy was asking for was just the simple acknowledgement of something that the left has been using for years, which is some level of quote unquote privilege. And whether or not that came in the form of white privilege or black privilege or whatever the hell it is, now we're talking about male privilege, right? And if you don't have male privileges, then you shouldn't be playing with the male, right? With the biological, forgive me for talking out of bounds, with the biological males, right? Because if you have male privilege and you have a biological female that comes in, you're going to kill him, depending on the sport. I don't know when the United States, when we got on this trip and how we got so far off track, but like why can't we just drop biological from all those conversations moving forward? Drives me nuts.
Well, because somehow they believe if they wish hard enough that ultimately whatever they wish for will come true. And it won't. There is nothing wrong with women being different than men. There's nothing wrong. And no matter how much
be embraced.
No matter how much you pray for it, it's never going to change. Folks, we'll be right back after this.
The DUM store is veteran-owned with a 5-star diamond rating for service and satisfaction. We offer quality products like coffee, shirts, hoodies, and hats, all made by veterans. Shop with confidence, backed by hundreds of 5-star reviews. Use code DUM10 to save 10%. Visit thedumshow.com today. Thank you for your support.
1 second, folks. I am replying to a idiot. I wish people were smarter. It would make it would make my job.
It's like the entire society has been infected with the Dunning-Kruger effect, right?
Oh my God, yes.
And we're at a point now where because people think that they have access to Google, that somehow every motherfucker that has that has their doctorate, has 8 years of research behind them, and that they know, full damn well what the correct answer is. And the fact of the matter is, folks, we don't.
So there's this lady named Dee. She comes on and she goes, no, they are not. She goes, yeah, that's real cute as actual drones are flying in close proximity and likely mapping our military bases. Folks, do you understand that there are satellites
I think I would know.
They do this very fucking job right now. There are satellites that have They have every type of geographical, topographical, every type of IR, every type of anything you want.
Sensor. Yeah, just say sensor.
Anything you want. They map out heat bloom. They measure the topsoil. They go ahead and they ping based on density and send out signal to recognize the fortification and the density of our fortifications. You just have no idea. Mm-hmm. They monitor radio. They monitor overall message traffic that they can get that's not encrypted. They monitor our radio stations. They monitor the over-the-air type stuff, extremely low frequency, UHF, stuff that isn't secure. Folks, there is so much data being collected around the world that you can't possibly understand what you're talking about. So all I said is, no, they're not. And she goes, oh, well, since you know what's up and have all the answers, fuck you people. Seriously, you can't even have a civilized conversation. And she says, maybe bestow your great knowledge upon the top officials at the Pentagon, multiple state governors and congressmen. I have, lady. Go fuck yourself.
We have.
That was my job. And then I said, I never claimed to have all the answers. I said, you're wrong because you have no clue what you're talking about. Not a single congressman, state official, or military official has stated there are foreign drones over our bases, nor are there any, or is there any proof or evidence to back up that speculation. She's going to come back and she's going to give me an obscure article from 3 months ago where a civilian drone was used. It's still speculative.
Civilian is not the same as foreign entity, right? We have to understand that.
Can somebody please go on this video of Olivia? I am ready to delete it. I can't stand. I am losing faith in humanity. Somebody, for the love of Cthulhu, please get in there and freaking and run some interference. Liberals. A lady decides to go ahead and run interference on a conservative demonstration. Oh, she's back. Oh my God. Okay, hold on.
Ooh.
Okay, then that's good enough for me, even though they've been spotted on military bases, per many reports. But our government has not confirmed that. Good enough for you. You don't know anything more than anyone else, pal. Stupid post. Right.
What's wrong with people? For 4 days now, we've been trying to bring the temperature down so that everyone can kind of breathe a sigh of relief and not freak out about these drones. If they were really foreign drones, why would they have lights on? Why would they make it so gosh darn easy to see if they were really trying to map out military bases? Do you think they'd flip on all of the lights, including the port and the starboard? Including the little 10-watt jobbies on the front so that you can see everything? Why would they do that? That makes no sense. Frustrating now. If you're trying to hide something, you don't turn the lights on.
Sorry, I had to take care of that. Lady, do some research on who you're talking to. You just made a complete ass out of yourself. Link me one article, I'll wait. So this is what I have to deal with. Folks, there are no military drones over U.S. military bases that aren't owned by the U.S. military, okay?
Right.
End of fucking story. I'm done. I don't have time for idiots. I don't have time for civilians who have no fucking idea what they're talking about. This lady who looks like Sarah Silverman is nuts. Watch this.
What, you're worried about seeing your fucking signs that are telling lies to people?
Tomato juice.
Sorry.
Lies.
Still can't change the agenda. We fucking tried to talk to you, assholes. I just tried to talk to you.
Case in point, but most of the time.
All right, then. I think we're good. Just we try to keep it. If you enjoy getting the stain out, don't get it on the don't get it on our stuff.
Hello. Could you please not do that?
Why?
Because this is our stuff.
Can you please not do this?
We are allowed to table here. We actually have a permit.
Yeah?
Yeah, we do.
I'm not touching you. I'm grabbing your phone.
Well, that's yeah. You can't touch his phone.
I'm not touching your phone. I'm covering the camera.
Okay. You're
not touching me. Why are you here?
Because we have a right to be here. Why are you here?
Because I have a right to be here. Kids.
Okay, so why are you damaging our stuff?
Okay. Maybe I'm just in a mood. And I don't think that we need the purge, but I think we need to sell open season licenses where we can just kick a sick ass pussy open season for 2 hours a year, where we can go and file a license, pick the person, and then as soon as we interact with that person and they do shit like that, then we can just beat the living shit out of them with no repercussions. Do we really believe that open conversation is going to fix any of this shit? Or is it time to start breaking these people's fucking noses? Is that really the only thing that's going to get them to stop? First of all, everything you just did there was assault.
Mm-hmm.
It's destruction of public property.
Destruction of personal property.
You physically touched that person. You had absolutely no right. You have no right to privacy. The moment that you touch their phone or try to grab their phone or held them back, depending upon the situation, if you have no opportunity to escape, it could be literally kidnapping. We need, the moment somebody touches you physically, you can drop them. And I think we need to get back to that adage. You put your hands on me, I'm going to put my hands on you. Am I overreacting?
No, I don't think you are. There has been too much of an emphasis, specifically from the left, for years. We've heard that if they kick high, we kick them low. Maxine Waters telling people to get in other people's faces. We've heard this level of rhetoric now with the follow through that is actually coming to fruition with the public. I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but if somebody were to do that to me, I think I would be in the right for, giving somebody maybe not a full on beat down.
No,
but
you need to punch him in the nose, dude.
Certainly a slap check, right? Certainly the ability to get that attention grabber that they need so that they know they'll leave you the fuck alone. Thank you, Glenn.
So, thank you, Glenn. I remember when I was in, I think it was 7th grade, and I was sitting next to a guy, his name was Patrick something, but redhead, freckles, totally Irish, and he looked like a Doyle. A Doyle rules. But was a very simple guy, not a badass. And he broke his leg. And later I found out that he broke his leg because his dad put his leg between two chairs and beat the shit out of him. So he had a compound fracture. So obviously when it's in that cast, it's going to suppurate, it's going to smell, he can't wash it. Now they have air casts and all these other things so you can take a shower. But the guy smelled and his cast stunk. Rhonda's like, you're right, Matt. There's some ignorant people on there. No fucking shit, Rhonda. Pardon my French, but I'm in that thread. Like, I'm just like sitting here going, pardon my French. I'm just like, dude, these people are, I can't stand it. Maybe I'm negative tonight. I'm not trying to be so negative, but dude, level of stupidity
it's okay to be critical.
Oh, God. I mean, I'm not, and it's not everybody. It's just there's a group of people who you're so entrenched. Drones are everywhere. They're going to kill us. Didn't you just care about fucking like something else last week? Isn't this just what we do? Weren't we worried about World War III and now it's drones?
I don't know when the American public, just in general, the gullibility factor has grown exponentially just in the last 20, 30 years. Like
It's
at some
horrible.
point when we were younger, like I feel like if somebody tried to pull one over on you, like people were more sensitive to it, and they were able to kind of pull back and go, all right, you're messing with me, right? And yes, we are, right?
And then everyone's
at
like,
some
ha,
point,
ha, ha.
right. And at some point, I don't know when, but by and large, that is just, people don't get that anymore.
I just believe truly that people need to get their ass beat, you know, because this story is, Mrs. Fouch was my teacher and I had a crush on her. She was gorgeous. And, you know, fresh out of college, and she had curly hair and, you know, glasses, and she always, you know, wore the sundresses.
Stay after?
This is a long story. We don't need to get into it. But so Patrick is there and he's sitting next to me and everyone can smell it. And people are trying to like go, oh God, you know, and they're trying to cover their noses. And she finally goes, Matthew, what is wrong? And I just said, Patrick's fucking cast. I didn't say fucking. I said, Patrick cast stinks. And we can't stand it. She goes, Matthew Spear, one of these days, someone is going to break your nose. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do? You know, I'm just being honest. Little did I know that was my kryptonite. I was always honest, and I got my ass kicked for it. So I'm just like, okay. And lo and behold, it wasn't Patrick who did it. But there was another kid who was a friend of his, and right after class, he came up and he just socked me right in the nose. And he didn't break it, but I had tears in my eyes. And I said, what the fuck did I do? He goes, you don't say that to someone. You don't say that to somebody. I'm like, say what? You don't say somebody stinks. And I'm like, he fucking does. And he hit me again. And I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to be a jerk. It stinks. What about me? Boom. And he hit me again. And then finally, I'm just like, I'm bleeding out of my fucking nose. And I was small. Dude, if you would have seen me in 7th grade, I was like 5'2". Wow. And I was probably 120 pounds. I was Ethan's size. And you know, I got big my senior year, and then anyone who picked on me, I went back and they're like, uh-oh. Yeah, fucking uh-oh. But I'm sitting there and I'm just bleeding, and I finally go, you know what? Hold on. And I got tears in my eyes, and I walk over to Patrick, and he's on crutches, and I go, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. And he's like, it's okay, man. It's okay. But this is what happened. Then he told me a story, and I said, dude, I feel horrible. I'm sorry I said that to you. And of course, I'm like, I'm so sorry. You know, because fucking a pussy. And I go back to the other guy, and the other guy's like, dude, don't ever fucking forget this. Don't do that to people. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, God, my 7th grade class was smart. I mean, talk about a just moment. But I learned that you don't go after people like that unless they come after you. And when they do, crush them.
Yep.
And that's the way that I've always been. And like, I'm really nice to people, but if you fuck with me, or I think you're fucking with me, and you've been on the other end of that one, you know, I get snippy with you sometimes, and that's just who I am. I'm very honest. Mm-hmm. You will always know where you stand with me. You'll never guess. I'll always tell you. I think we need more of that in the world today.
that's a natural thing that more assertive people can run into. And we've had to kind of learn those boundaries off of each other to some degree. Mm-hmm. And I've certainly learned it from you. And I think the more aggressive the person, the more likely that you'll have those types of interactions.
What the hell are you talking about, aggressive?
Hey.
You son of a motherless. What you talking about, Willis? So, I mean, that's really where we're at today, is I think people are so afraid of speaking the truth that we have been, thank you, Mike, that we are forced to live in this fake plastic prosthetic society of never hurting people's feelings, that we've gone the opposite way. You know, it's like sometimes with people, like, I'm just like this. I mean, will you please just get to the fucking point? Would you please rip the Band-Aid off and just tell me what you're trying to tell me, and stop trying to circumnavigate my intelligence and just say it? And people will be like, dude, you're an asshole. And I'm like, good. Now we can start from there. Why the fuck do you think I'm an asshole? Well, because of A, B, C, and D. Oh, well,
whatever.
A and C is correct, but B and D are way off course. And then you come to a mutual accord. But what happens is we do this passive aggressive crap. And,
if the majority of the people, if everyone likes you, there's a problem.
Oh, yeah.
You should not be liked by everybody. You should have a healthy percentage, roughly 46.9% of the people that should fucking hate your guts, right? Because if you're trying to please everyone, you're doing something wrong. I will say that. Thank you, Bobby. And
Thanks,
I'll
Bobby.
also say this. It is that exact, what Matt is talking about, this, I don't know when it got so acceptable to just, like, let shit go. I mean, I do it to a degree. I really do. I'm pretty, like, I'm standoffish, but it's because of the length of my fuse. And when it finally goes boom, you don't want to be anywhere near it. Now, to some degree, when you allow people to get away with shit like that, like throwing tomato sauce on your sign, or basically getting in your face and poking your finger at you, or, any one of a number of things that we've seen on a lot of these college campuses, like, I don't know when that got, like, so acceptable. But if there were a handful of people who were a little more assertive and said, get the fuck out of here, right, and maybe gave people that pop in the face, like what Matt was talking about, yeah, there'd be a lot less of that kind of, tomato sauce all over everything. There'd be less people painting throwing paint on the Mona Lisa or gluing themselves in the middle of traffic.
Yeah, that's just funny. Like there's people who've lost their fingers, like literally had to have their hands amputated. I'm like, that's awesome. That's the shit I'm talking about. Do more of that. More of removing people's hands. Like, I'm down for that. Do more shit that you have to live with for the rest of your life and tell your grandkids one day, if you decide to sleep with actually your opposite sex, and have them and don't abort them. When you do, that you have to go, Granddad, why don't you have a hand? And instead of going, I lost it in Saigon, you have to say, I was a fucking moron who super glued my hand with epoxy, and unfortunately, I got a disease, or I got an infection that was so large that it infected my bones, and they had to remove my hand, and it was poisoning my bloodstream. Grandpa, why did you do that? Well, because I was trying to save the environment. By sacrificing your hand, Grandpa, I don't understand. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
God forbid it's your dick hand.
Oh yeah. Well, that's some of us are hung like a coffee can, and we can get satisfaction from both sides, so it's all good.
Important starboard, sure.
Sure. Or don't forget the undercarriage, baby. How's your father? So am I calling for violence? You know what? Yes, I am a little bit. We need a little bit. If there's no repercussions for your actions, then what stops you from doing whatever or saying whatever you want? Nothing.
Right.
If you can get away with it, who cares? Why do you think people rioted? Why do you think people burned shit down? Because they knew they were going to get away with it. So we just have to stop zero accountability. Not everyone's going to be an NFL player. Not everyone's a scholar. Not everyone's a genius. I'm sorry, but just because you have had some thought processes around COVID doesn't make you a fucking microbiologist. It just doesn't. And you can sit here and be like, oh, I'm not going to take a vaccine. Okay, that's fine. But can you just admit that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about? You're taking a vaccine on somebody else's opinion, not your own. And that's what I want to try to get people to do, is start thinking for themselves. Like this next video, this guy, this is my example, is you're not thinking for yourself. You're not looking at the big picture. You're taking a microcosm of data and spinning it to your narrative, and it's unequivocally false. Here's the video. This we always bring things together in this show. And, I don't understand how this person has 1 million views. I just think maybe this isn't for me. Like, I just think I'm not going to get there because I don't understand. I'm too old. And they're just like, look at this old fogey. I don't listen to this guy. I don't know what it is.
That'd be me. Matt looks 20 years younger than I am.
That's true. But that
we're within like 2 or 3 years.
We are. But that's just, that's just genetics and a big penis. But I don't whatever. You are a very handsome man. You're under a stressful environment. When you get out, you're going to be fine. You're going to get the right diet, the exercise, and you're going to look great.
What I'm saying is, like, when my beard comes in, it's mostly white. I am mostly bald, right? I'm getting shorter and fatter as time goes on, and you look fantastic.
Mine's pretty white. Hi, Hade. You going to bed again? I'm so sorry. I can't believe what they do to you. I love you.
I love theater. I love it so much.
Say hi.
Hi, Hayden.
Come down.
Hi.
Hayden's tired. She's on her 4th night of plays, and
And the final show is tomorrow.
Yes.
Nice. Knock it out of the park, kid.
That
Good
was
on
the
you.
worst show I've ever been in.
I don't believe it was horrible. Most of the time when you say it's horrible, it's not horrible. Okay, that sucked. It sucked. Well, then do better. Do better next time. It's not from a lack of being pretty. Get out of my face. Leave me alone. That's your only compliment you're getting. I'm in trouble. Not that I need more guns, but I need more guns. She's starting to look timeless.
Brother.
She's starting to look timeless. That's the problem. She looks like she's from the 1940s. All right. Are you ready? Amy Bordeaux says, I think you're hot, Leroy.
Aw, you're sweet. Thank you.
Leroy, when you wash your face, how high do you go up? Oh, that's not nice. Loretta.
Somewhere back here. Somewhere back here. It's like, polar south.
Watch this video. Are you ready?
Yeah.
This is called the real estate bulldog. There he is.
Look at Jesse Waters' outrage because one CEO got Luigi'd. One CEO.
You already lost me. You already lost me. You already lost me, dude. That CEO has a family. Why are we so afraid of success in the United States? Here's the rest.
CEO. Where was the outrage when we had 81 school shootings in 2024?
All over the media. And I thought it was 560 shootings. Oh, you're actually using the real math. Well, good for you for that. At least he's doing the real math, okay? Which isn't a drive-by or gang-related shooting or a suicide or a group suicide. It's actual school shootings. Good for you for actually putting the real number. So I got to give that guy credit on that aspect.
Where is Sean Hannity's frustration at the 2,566 kids unalived by guns in 2023?
Okay, you lost me. Unalived.
Where is Laura Ingram's exasperation at the 18,874 firearm-related homicides in 2023?
I don't know. We don't run the inner cities.
And finally, where's the anger from the media at the 68,000 number of Americans who are unalived each year due to a lack of health care? I hope you'll remember this simple example when you see the talking heads in our mass media
He said healthcare.
telling us how we should be upset
cherry picking.
because one man...
Because he couldn't pick the 68,000 that die of gun-related deaths because most of those are suicides or gang-related or crime, right?
Was a victim of gun violence in the streets of America. I want you to remember when they tell you how outraged you should be because another person reached his breaking point because our system broke him. So when the media...
First of all, the only thing I'm going to say, and then I'm handing it over to you, is I noticed how you didn't put any brown rice in there or black rice. Maybe what you should do without being racist, because I'm sure you're going to call me a racist when you see the video, because I'm going to fucking tag you in it, is why didn't you go ahead by ratio and proportion, put white rice versus black rice and brown rice and see how infinitesimally small those white-related shootings are? And the last question I have for you is, where are the 67 million pieces of rice for the unborn children that your party murdered? I'm just wondering, are we going to care about any of that, or are we just going to go ahead and skip right to health care? Leroy, go.
Or the 100 million pieces of rice that have been the victim of left-wing policies since 1900. Are we going to count them? 100 million. Make sure you get that one right. And do you have a thing against Asian? Is that why we're using rice? Or are you pro-Asian? Yes. I can't tell. I'm trying to make that distinction, and it's right.
Beans, maybe.
Right? Something? Anyway, yeah, I did like the fact that he was cherry picking his data and somehow moved from CEOs And it looked like on the front end of it that the argument was going to be about guns and gun ownership, then maneuvered into healthcare. That is, I mean, maybe because the CEO was the CEO of a healthcare agency, maybe that was the correlating line there. But I don't know. I was struggling to see where the hell he was going with that. I understand that it seemed to have been about media outrage more than the policy, but I didn't get the general message as it was coming through. It didn't make sense to me.
Listen, death is bad. Murder's bad. And it's bad on every single level, whether it's natural or whether it's some nefarious or evil means or accidental means. It's all bad. But what you're specifically doing is blaming the gun. And there is no gun on the planet that has decided that it's going to kill its owner or kill a target that doesn't have a human being behind it. Right. And there's negligence. There's no such thing as accidental discharge. It's negligent discharge. There are accidental shootings, which can happen between children or even friends and loved ones and people fucking around with guns. But predominantly, most of those deaths that you are talking about are suicide or homicide. That is the fact. And if you want to go ahead,
suicide,
yeah, and homicide too. When you look at that and you actually want to go ahead and say, okay, well, what are the rest of the deaths? Well, you have accidental shootings that make up a large part of it. You have group suicide. Surprisingly enough, there are people who commit suicide together. You have gangland shootings, which are more than three. It's actually four. 4 people injured in a shot is actually in a shooting is classified as a mass shooting. So when they say there's 590, that includes all drive-bys and gangland shootings when more than 4 people are involved. So when at least he said the 80 some odd is actually correct. That for someone who's bringing up this information, I actually have to give him credit for. But your argument is invalid because you're blaming an inanimate object for the deaths. There is going to be death no matter what. Do you know more people are actually killed by knives and blades in the world than guns?
Yep.
There are more deaths by hammer and blunt force objects in the United States than guns. So it's not the gun, it's the moral decay of what life means and the value of it in most of these cases, whether that be suicide or in homicide. We've got to do a better job of talking about what the real message is. Folks, we have hit our goal. I want to tell you, I appreciate that. The next 3 months are going to be tough for us. Last subject coming up.
.com, the social media platform built for free speech and true connection. No censorship, no algorithms controlling your feed, just genuine conversations and a commitment to protecting your rights. Sign up today at webkin.com and take back your voice. Tell them Matt and the Dumb Show sent you.
Listen, very seldom am I,
Real quick on the subject of guns, and then I'll shut up. I heard this really brilliant quote.
I'm afraid
a while back by a guy named Tony Bernardo, and he is quoted as saying, "The evil intentions in people's hearts are never above the inanimate objects they use to carry out the crime." And when I thought about that, he was spot on correct. It's always the rock, the knife, the car, the bomb, the gun, whatever. But we never talk about banning all of those other things. We only ever talk about the gun, even though it's enshrined in our Bill of Rights.
Tommy, I'll talk about the cat thing after tonight's show. We'll probably do it tomorrow. It's in relation to my father and his fire department days with a toy poodle. And I will be more than happy to share it with you. I just don't have enough time tonight because I do have to jump off. Very rarely will I ever recommend Amy Klobuchar and a Ted Cruz video. But we're going to go ahead and do that as one that I just found to be quite wholesome and funny. because I love Ted Cruz. And although I don't like Amy Klobuchar's policies because she is a progressive, she doesn't drive me as crazy as others. I think she has an easy smile. And I think there are times when she can be somewhat affable. I don't like her policies. And I don't like who she is from a political sense. But this, I thought, was pretty genuine and pretty funny. It's going to start off because Ted's trying not to crack up and she's laughing. And I thought you might want to see something that's halfway decent.
But we do have to put some rules in the place, or I'm afraid, as
this
David
common
Brooks once
ground
wrote,
stuff.
is this going to take us to
I'm gonna
heaven
bring
or
up some
hell?
nominees.
It has to take us to heaven. Okay, Joe.
What about Tulsi Gabbard? I'm going to get this going. That was Andrew all along, Senator Cruz, with those really good those really good questions. If I'm going to get in, I'm talking about Hegseth or something to get you guys going. Okay. I've had enough of the.
Amy told me she's voting for all of Trump's nominees.
The last time I voted for half his nominees on the cabinet because I carefully reviewed each one and made decisions. And I just don't think you should give a president a blank slate power when in fact we are supposed to have advise and consent and have an oath that we take ourselves to protect the Constitution.
I thought I should get on camera just for a second. It's the holidays. Everything was going so well.
Everything was going so well. Yeah. You decided to join the party.
I did that in jest. It wasn't a.
We were saying Merry Christmas, and you jumped in and said "Bah humbug."
There you go. Happy holidays, guys.
Fuck a happy holidays. I thought that was very. That's nice. It's good to see. Listen, they should get along. They should have good they work together. Okay. They should have a good relationship. It should be amicable. It should be based upon respect. And they can vehemently disagree on the finer points of how to get there. Executives do it all the time. I was always the no man in the room. No matter what, on the board, I was always the person that would say no. And until I said yes, we didn't move forward. And I would bring and try to blow holes into everything. And that's who I was. That was my job. And it got me a lot of ire. And some people took it personal. I had people go to HR and try to get me fired. And, it is what it is. But it's nice to see something's changing in Washington. I'm just looking at the CEOs who are, Jeff Bezos is meeting with Donald Trump. Tim Cook is meeting with Donald Trump. Mark Zuckerberg gives him $1 million for his inauguration. You're starting to see that foreign leaders, 46 of them, are ready to shake his hand, minus 2 people who aren't because they've got a corn cob up their ass. It seems that legislators, Pete Hegseth looks like it looks good for him. It looks good for Tulsi. Things are starting to mellow out, and people are just like, you know what? Let's just let it go. Let's see what he can do. Maybe he can do something. And dare I say that people are just finally sick and fucking tired of being so negative all the time.
I was just thinking that.
Maybe they're just like, dude, can we just have some fucking positivity? Can we just have something enjoyable about our lives? By the way, somebody just called one of our people a MAGA T. Get that motherfucker off Facebook. You don't call people maggots, you Nazi fuck. I am so sick of people maligning people with vermin and rats. That's a Nazi thing, okay? So whoever that is, somebody find it. Amy, go find that guy. His name's Peter something and ban his ass. Please. Leroy, I was just talking about being nicer, but that didn't work out. But let's just assume I didn't say that and go ahead. He called one of my female listeners a maggot.
I get it.
You can't do, what? You wouldn't
20
have the
minutes
balls
ago. 20 fucking minutes ago, we were talking about when someone does something like pour tomato sauce on a painting or, when you get assaulted, there is some level of, hey, you should be able to have, you should have carte blanche to pop that dude in the nose. This is the same thing. We need to start doing more of this. When somebody calls you a name, you ban them. When somebody steps out of bounds and starts calling people maggots, right, you go after them to let people know it is not acceptable behavior anymore. If you want to talk about if you want to talk about policy, I am all on board. If you want to have an intellectual debate, sign me the fuck up. But the moment you start calling people Nazis, because you don't have anything else intellectually in the bank, that's on you. And you should get popped in the face.
Yes. Yes. That's it. But anyway, your comments on the video, my friend, because we have a CR.
Yeah.
A continuing resolution to pass the budget, 1,500 pages to kick the can down the road yet again. Here we go. There is a video on this that I can show you real quick before I get your comment, but I want you to think about let me show you this video. You get full comment, and then also don't forget the Klobuchar and Ted Cruz, because they're both play in each other's sandbox.
Any words you're quoted as.
Oh my God, those are birds. We know. God, we know. Okay, there. All right, here's the video.
DR is a dumpster fire. And you said this is not what you wanted to see because you're here to work for, the American people. I also, get your reaction on, Victoria Spartz. She's taking a pretty hard line, the Republican congresswoman from Indiana. She's saying, I'll be Republican. I'm not going to sit on committees or participate in caucuses because of the leadership. What's really happening in Congress when it comes to some of the way things are getting done, or should I say not getting done, Congressman?
Yeah, I share Victoria's concerns and angst and anger.
Amy, it's somewhere on the Facebook page. Never mind, I'll find it.
I was frustrated before I came here. Now I'm more frustrated that I'm here and I see how horrific and how much of a disaster our fiscal situation is, and the lack of appetite to actually do anything about it is disgusting to me. And so I expected more from my Republican colleagues. I expect more from my speaker to be the conservative that I thought that he was. But instead, we're going to push through, a hundreds of $billion package that's going to add more debt to our deficit to our debt, and we're going to, continue this reckless process. Look, we complained about Nancy Pelosi dropping thousands of pages of an omnibus bill before Christmas. How is this any different?
How does that strike you? His resolve, his passion about it, and then tell me about Klobuchar and Ted Cruz. Your thoughts. Go ahead, Leroy. You've got it. Close this out.
I'm going to go backwards here real quick. I'm going to go with Ted Cruz and Klobuchar real quick. I thought that was a refreshing video. I like the ability. I like that we're able to see both sides of the aisle kind of banter playfully and get away from a lot of the vitriol that the media tells us exists within Washington. That these people are somehow able to laugh and joke and get along, not unlike, Justice Scalia and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who were from their perspectives legally were diametrically opposed, and yet they were very close personal friends. I liked that video, and I think that there should be more of that in the media for no other purpose than to just bring down the overall temperature of Americans. In terms of the budget and kicking the can down the road, we're at $34 trillion in debt. The government brings in roughly every year right around $4.5 trillion, yet we spend last year $6.1 trillion. So we're spending the wrong direction. We gave $12 billion, no, more than that. It was like, I have a this is an old graphic. We spent $12 billion to Ukraine, but I want to say it was well more than that.
It's more than that now.
Yeah. We spend 12% of our annual budget on defense, another 19% on education, and healthcare is 23%. We have to start figuring out how the hell we're going to pay off some of these bills, because once our debt level reaches $50 trillion, that's it, folks. We will not bring in enough money to service even the interest on what we owe at that point. Right now we are on a sinking ship financially, and we can still get out of it, but it's going to take some discipline. It's going to take some, hey, we got to cut a lot of things back. And so this continuing resolution, I understand its purpose. I just wish we could figure out where the bleed was coming from. I wish we could figure out which programs are absolutely not needed so that instead of having to revisit this issue once every 3 or 4 months or 6 months, whatever the case is, that we don't hear from it, we don't hear about it, rather, for years at a crack. That would be nice.
How about we take a look at the largest gaps in the Defense Department over the last 25 years with almost $9.1 trillion. I mean, can you imagine if we stimulated our overall deficit with $9.1 trillion of net positive, what that would do for our government, what that would do for our people, we wouldn't have to pay taxes for 4 years. It's just something to think about. It's the best line of a movie that I can think about is the movie Untouchables, where, they're going to make their first raid on Capone and get some of the whiskey, and Elliot Ness is there, and Sean Connery is walking in, and Elliot Ness Kevin Costner looks at Sean Connery and goes, "What are we doing?" And he's like, "We're going on a raid." And he's like, "But this is the U.S. Post Office." And he's like, "Right." And he's like, "Listen, lad, it's not about knowing where the whiskey is. Everybody knows that. It's who wants to cross Capone." And and then Kevin Costner, they go. So it's like, we know where the waste is, and it should have been your best. Should have got the voice in there. Let me do it.
Yeah.
Your best.
I love it when you do that.
Your best. What does he say?
Prom
Losers
queen.
always talk about your prom. Fuck, I can't do it right now. Why are my voices? Your best. Losers always talk about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. Carla was the prom queen. Right. So anyway, the whole point is it's not us not knowing where the wasteful bleeds and leaks are. It's who wants to actually go ahead and expose the people involved who are not being frugal about our money. So everyone knows it's in the post office. You know what I mean? Everyone knows where the whiskey is, but who wants to cross Capone? Everyone knows where the lack of frugal oversight is. Who wants to cross the U.S. government? That's the problem. Go ahead, buddy.
When we talk about the continuing resolution, which is basically the government, saying, "Hey, we need more money," I want everyone to think about how many audits the Pentagon has passed. Because you know what that number is? 0. They have failed in a row, consecutively. They have failed 6 audits. Yet the government is still coming to you to say, "We need more of your tax dollars to keep the government running." And they can't pass an audit. That should terrify you.
This is what happens when you negotiate a contract with a defense contractor and they take 25 years to fulfill what they're supposed to do. Is the original dollars that it was supposed to be are grossly and frivolously calculated, and with ridiculous spending to increasing T-bill sales and bond sales in order to pay for Social Security and Medicare, which is what we're doing. Everyone goes, "Wait, Social Security and Medicare is paid by me." No, it's not. The money you put into it is gone. Every single budget, they sell themselves bonds to loan against Social Security and Medicare to fund it. They're using your taxes again to pay for what you already paid for. That is how completely fucked the United States government is. And if you think I'm wrong, look it up. I wouldn't lie to you. I never have, never will. The U.S. government lends itself money to pay back Medicare and Social Security because it is a losing proposition, just like the USPS. Just like the Postal Service, it's designed to lose money. So is Social Security, and so is healthcare. You would have better chance of having that money and investing it in yourself in this current stock market, and probably make more money than Social Security will ever pay you.
True.
So I just want people to understand is we know where the money is. We know where the money is. And we don't want to actually hold the people accountable. I'm telling you, a reckoning's coming. And I truly believe that we are going to keep put in people who are not going to kowtow to the government. They are not going to accept. They are going to expose it. And I believe that I promise you in the first week, you will see one of these people he nominates go out and literally start exposing shit in a press conference. Call an emergency press conference and just fucking expose departments.
We need to.
We need to. This person blackmailed me. This person threatened me. This person decided to go ahead and pull money and go ahead and try to trade ponies with me on public school lunches if I didn't go ahead and do this, or close a military base if I didn't play ball. I want that shit exposed. I want these people burned to the fucking ground. That's what I want.
Yep.
Leroy, last minute's yours. Go, buddy.
Oh, what a great show. I mean, I think we spent a little bit too long probably on the drones, but it seems like that is just such the it's in every fucking headline. I mean, now it's affecting the base where I work, and you're like, what the hell is going on? They're just kids with they're private drones, folks. It's a combination of, like, you know, mistaken identity and like the 1 or 2% that are legitimate drones, not foreign actor drones, just people with drones that live here.
And there are government drones up there.
There are.
Come on.
So we had that, and we talked about, God, we talked about a lot tonight. I didn't even think about that. Oh yeah, Jerry Connolly, and how much of a turncoat he is.
Jerry Seinfeld's dad.
Right. You know, it was a good show, and I really enjoyed it. I thought that, if anything, we're able to shed a little more light and kind of get everyone to have a little more perspective, so that they're not looking into the New Jersey sky and freaking out. Like, if you're listening to the people who used to do this kind of shit for a living, folks, then you should be able to breathe a sigh of relief. And that's what we want. We want to keep everyone informed. We're not here to, you know, bullshit you or anything like that. We're no smoke screens here. We just want you to relax, listen to the show. Hope you enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, throw a tip in that tip jar. We need it.
The ding that you're hearing is Facebook's open, because I'm dealing with idiots, fucking idiots. By the way, for those who say that the perfect gift doesn't exist, this is wrong. The Testacuzzi is a battery-powered mini jacuzzi for your balls. $40 on Amazon. Vibrates. You even have a little kneeling pad there, and you can just have your own personal ball washer. You're thinking about that gift for the man in your life, or the woman who is confused. That is the one you want. Folks, thanks for watching. We are going to be on tomorrow night. It'll be Damani Felder, myself, Olivia, and Amy will all be in the house, and we will have a great show, and we will bring Damani on. We'll see you at 7 o'clock sharp. Please be here.
Sounds good.
And make sure everyone's on. Leroy, thanks for being on, buddy. It was great to see you.
Yeah, man.
And we'll see you see you Thursday.
See me Thursday. And love you guys. Peace out, homies.
Thanks for all your tips and donations, folks. Go buy some shirts. Talk to you soon. See ya.
Adjusting transmitter output.
Thanks, Leroy. Bye, buddy.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.